welcome to another Sims 4 video. Today is probably the most important video that I have made to date, and today I'm going to be talking about ways to have more fun in The Sims 4. Now of course this is very important to all of us Sims 4 players because we always want to have more fun in whatever way we play the game, whether it's gameplay, create a sim, building. I'm not going to be covering building because I'm not a builder, but I'm going to be talking about ways to spice up your gameplay and truly have more fun in the game, because whether you do build and stuff like that, like at the end of the day we're playing Sims that are going to be living in these builds. And when we talk about cast, I'm a cast player, we do take those Sims from Create a Sim into the game and they have lives. And the reason why over the last few years, honestly since The Sims 4 has come out, that the gameplay has been less fun to players compared to build and Create a Sim is that it is very easy to play repetitively in The Sims 4 because a lot of the packs are watered down, unfortunately, and the traits and personalities in The Sims 4 are arguably worse than previous games. But I'm not here to crap on The Sims 4 because those are the flaws of the game. Every game has flaws, but I'm here to help you overlook these flaws and kind of show you how to have more fun in a different way. Now I'm going to leave a side note here because obviously having mods and custom content in game will take your game to another level of gameplay, and if you know my channel you know I do play with loads of mods and CC, but for this video I really wanted to focus on ways to make the game more fun without mods and CC because I know a lot of people watching are console players or just people who prefer to play the vanilla game. So I'm not going to be talking about mods and custom content in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to have more fun universally, but if you are looking for mods and CC and where to get them, you can check out my other videos. So of course it all starts in Create a Sim, and that is the first thing that you really want to consider when you're wanting to have more fun in the game. By default we start the game in Create a Sim, we have to make our Sims, make our backstories, all of that. And in my opinion, instead of just making a Sim that you think looks good and then going along with it, you should start with a really deep backstory. Now this is something that I used to do all the time growing up and I don't really do it that much anymore. Instead of going into creating my Sim, I would start with the personality and the aspiration and the traits and all of that, and then once I picked that, then I would make my Sim. And I know that's not the default way of how people do things, but I highly recommend that you start doing this if you want to have more fun, because that's the beginning step to becoming more attached to your Sims, which makes the gameplay more fun. So think of a deep backstory, think of something unique, realistic maybe, something that's different to the generic storylines that you've maybe played before. I like to take inspiration from books, movies, TV shows, even real life situations. I'm actually following a challenge for this example using the Black Widow challenge, so I'm making a Black Widow Sim who's evil, flirty, so obviously the challenge was already kind of a backstory of who your Sim is, so that's also a good idea. But just have fun and create a Sim, try and do something new, because obviously when we do repetitive things they do get boring. If your Sim is always friendly, outgoing, this and that, they will become the same Sim every time you start a new save, and then you'll be like, okay, well this is boring because I've played this before. But if you make a new Sim with new traits, although I said the traits are watered down and stuff like that, traits aren't useless in The Sims 4 and they do shine through, especially if you pick the stronger traits. So pick traits, even negative traits, pick new things to make your Sim feel different. So yeah, just spice things up, try new traits, new family structures, and new looks for your Sims. Now the next step that you want to consider is thinking about the kind of gameplay that you want to play. This is super important to consider because everyone has their own playstyle and what they find the most fun to play in the game. And I also do think that thinking intentionally about the game that you want to play will make it more fun for you instead of just playing on autopilot. So decide what kind of gameplay you want to start off with, because this might shift as your Sims grow and evolve. So do you want to start with a family? Do you want to start with a single Sim? Do you want to start with a couple? As I said before, do you want to start with a challenge? Maybe challenge gameplay could be something new for you. And yeah, I think it's important to think intentionally about your gameplay and your gameplay style, because even if you're the type of person that likes for things to go with the flow and things to happen naturally, I still think it's important to lay down the foundation for your gameplay so that you can make the most out of it. Speaking about making the most out of it, the next step is making the most out of the worlds that you're playing in. So what I mean about this is really setting up the world that you're playing in and making it feel fun and fresh. This could be as simple as adding 2 new lots to your game that are more fun, like a bowling alley or a spa, to adding a completely brand new save file to your game which changes everything from the vanilla Sims 4 save. I just think it's important to spice things up in the world as well, because when your Sim is going out and about, you want things to feel fun and new and exciting. You don't really want to go to the Velvet nightclub or whatever it's called in Willow Creek every night, so you want to go to new things, bowling alleys, something new, something fun. I've actually recently made a video about my favorite save save file, so you can check that out if you're looking for a good save file. But yeah, setting up the world is super important to your game so that your Sim's not stuck at home all the time, which I know a lot of people do. The next step is to actively build a connection with your Sim. Now this is definitely easier said than done because it's not easy to build a connection to your Sim all the time. There have been times where I've personally made Sims and I've just found it impossible to connect to them, so that's why I stopped playing them. But as I said, I think that's also important when you go to the first step of making your Sim, that you make them unique and make them feel realistic. But when it comes to actively building a connection and attachment with your Sims, I do think it's really important to start to view them from the beginning as real people with real hearts, real minds, real life choices, because it'll start to humanize them a little bit and make them feel like, oh my god, they just made that horrible decision, I feel so bad for them. So really start to view them like that, even when they're moving in, like maybe they're really tired from moving to a new town and they feel antisocial, like start to think about how you would feel if you were them. And obviously, as I said, it's very hard to build attachments to your Sims sometimes. I mean, I'm playing the Black Widow challenge in this example, so you can't get too attached, okay, because we're going to be getting rid of a lot of husbands. But yeah, so to do this properly, I would recommend reflecting on their life decisions. So for example, my Sim is a Black Widow Sim, so she is evil, so I'm going to take that into account when she's meeting new people and when she's making decisions. Obviously that's a darker example, but apply this to all of your Sims, and when you're playing their lives, even smaller events, it will make it feel like a bigger deal because you actually care about that Sim. And one final tip that I would like to give to players who want to have more fun in The Sims 4 kind of comes under spicing things up again. I believe that it is really important to throw a spanner in the works every once in a while, and this basically involves adding chaos when things are already going really smoothly in game, things are going well in your game, and you just want to add something chaotic to make things more exciting. Now this can look different in many different families, save files, worlds, and all of that because all of your Sims are different, and things can already become naturally chaotic in game. I've noticed that The Sims 4 recently for me has become even more chaotic even without mods, but despite that I still think it's important to routinely add chaos to the game because it prevents the game from feeling boring at any point. So to give you some examples of this, for example, if you're playing my Black Widow Sim, maybe she's going to start off with no money, no home, she has to start completely with nothing. Or maybe for the perfect family with a wonderful life, maybe you want to spice things up by having the husband have an affair with his coworker. Or maybe you have a teen Sim who's not really got much going on and maybe they become instantly ostracized from their friend group and they feel alone. Just get creative with your Sims, think about who your Sims are and what could maybe be happening in their lives and use that to spice things up. Also, this is another point, but I just wanted to give a little list of challenges that I thought you guys might want to try out from the earlier point in the video, just because I know there maybe are some beginner players who don't really know what challenges in The Sims 4 look like. So you could try the Legacy Challenge, the Black Widow Challenge, the Not So Berry Challenge, the 100 Baby Challenge, the Rags to Riches Challenge, the Perfectionist Challenge, which is one that I've made myself, I'll link that down below. There are so many challenges that I can't even think of that I've not even tried myself. So I would definitely recommend looking them up and trying them out because they're all very different and unique and can be fun for you to try. But yeah, overall, think outside the box and be creative with your game because that is ultimately what makes it more fun. When you're playing on autopilot, which we all do occasionally when you're just not thinking about actively creating stories and chaos in the game, you will inevitably get bored. So be mindful when you're playing, think about storylines, think about your Sims, think about the world, and it will all come to you and it will feel so much more fun and refreshing. But yeah, I'm not the all-knowing sim god who has all of the answers, so make sure to leave your comments if you have other suggestions that makes your game more fun for players, and we can kind of have like a little bank of ideas and new things to make the game more fun for everyone. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I do like to share my kind of 2 cents on what I think is fun for the game, and some tips for new players and old players too, because us old players do get rusty and we do get bored at times too. And yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed, and as always, I hope you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I will see you soon with another Sims 4 video. Bye!